the second study group of the Bromley Course in Miracles study group, and today our subject is projection and the attack defense cycle, forgiveness. We're going to bring a whole all of that together and unpick it all as well. So if you have questions, if you have good examples, please feel free to throw them all in. Okay. So first of all, we're going to start with, what is projection? Anybody know?
I think of it as your thoughts are like slides, with projector.
Okay.
And your thoughts are like the slides you put in, and then you get a projection
on the screen, and you watch the film as such, and then we react to the film. Yeah, we can use that analogy, or the analogy I'm going to use today is that life is a mirror. And the reason I use that analogy will become clear a little bit later on. So projection actually means to hurl or to throw out. That's the dictionary definition. And what we're doing as we go along is projecting out all of the stuff that's in our subconscious or our unconscious, if you prefer to call it that. So this is Freud's analogy of the mind. Freud said that the mind is like an iceberg. and if you think about an iceberg, we have the phrase, don't we, tip of the iceberg. So the tip of the iceberg is about 5% you see above the water. If I look into the water, I can see a little bit of the iceberg before it gets too deep. And then the big 93% is the stuff that's so deep that I can't see it. Okay, so that makes up the iceberg. And how that relates to the mind is this way. So the conscious mind is said to be 5% of the whole mind. So it's really all of your senses, what you're seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, feeling and thinking. So psychologists will tell you we're aware of 7 bits of information at any one time, plus or minus 2. So really they're all of that stuff that I've just mentioned. The pre-conscious, if I said, Abby, what did you have for dinner yesterday?
Pie mash.
There you go. So it's not here at the front of our consciousness, but it's actually, if I just look a little bit deeper, I can get that file back really easily. Yeah. Well, that leaves 93% of what's going on in there as subconscious, underneath the consciousness. And we can bring that back as a clinical hypnotherapist. Obviously, I'm doing that all the time, bringing back your memories and things you've suppressed, repressed, forgotten about, denied, but it's all in there. The mind is always recording. There is never a moment when it's not recording. Even if you're on deep anesthesia, if you're having an operation, you think you're totally unconscious, it's been shown, it's been proved with deep regression, we can bring back everything those doctors said. So everything is always recorded. No information is ever lost from the universe, ever. Mainstream science will tell you that. And because we are energy, we can change form, but we are also information. So we're information and energy, always recording everything, keeping everything. And it's stored, things I don't need in this moment are stored here in my subconscious. So here's my little projector. And this projector is projecting out all of the stuff that's in my 93%. But it's not just coming up as you know, oh, think about this, think about this. I'm seeing it as aspects of people and things and situations in my life. So everybody here is an aspect of me. Okay, I used to have a big mirror ball there, and it was really good because if you stood in front of the mirror ball, you didn't get a reflection of yourself as if I would stand in that mirror perhaps. What you got was little patches, because they're tiny little tiles and they're on a curve. I might get bits of black and maybe a bit of blue, and then maybe a little bit of hair, and you know. So I couldn't recognise myself in that mirror ball. But obviously it's reflecting me, but it's reflecting a broken up, divided, individual aspects of me. And in some ways, that's what everybody in your life is, and everything. As this room reflects me in some way, shape or form, and all the little bits and knicky-knacks in it, that's how the whole of your life is. Okay, it's totally projected from your mind. The eyes do not only see, i.e. take in information, but they also project out. Okay, so it's a two-way thing. So my things I don't want to own about myself, I've forgotten, I've denied, I've repressed, that need healing, the subconscious mind wants you to, you want to know those things. So the subconscious mind will project them out onto the screen of your life. The information comes back, because when I look in a mirror, it's only the light reflected back to me. A mirror is a blank screen as such. So I get reflected back the light that I am. So that gets reflected back, taken in by the mind, by the eyes, to the brain, thought about, edited, reflected on, and then the whole cycle begins again. Okay, so in some ways it's a continuous loop. And this creates your universe, hence the name universe. It's your world. Everything out there is you. No cherry picking, all the good bits. It's all you, everything. So we have to own everything. And it's akin to being the dreamer. I am the dreamer and the dream characters in my dream, aren't I? There's nobody else in the dream as such, apart from those in my head, those thoughts and feelings and things projected out as people. So I am the dreamer and the dream. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yeah? It'll become clear as we go along. Okay. Like in this world, as the Course in Miracles says, you are everyone and everyone is you. There is no separation between me and you. No separation between things other than how I have set them up in my mind. Like my mirror ball, I've kind of cut the mirror into little squares, if you like, and seeing them as a part, so I can fool myself that this is real. And therefore I can continue to play the game. Because if I kept knowing, oh, it's all me, you know, it's just a dream, all those kinds of things, then I can't enjoy the experience. And that's what the ego is bought into, is keeping us in the experience. And by separating out all of the little bits and not allowing us to make the connections, then in some ways I have no choice, do I, but to stay in the dream. When you are dreaming, you don't know you're dreaming, do you? Until you're actually coming out of it, or you train yourself to lucid dream, which means to be awake in the dream, in which case then you can take control of it. And in some ways the Course is teaching us to be lucid dreamers, so that we can start to go, okay, I'm dreaming this, I'm in control of this, what do I want to do now? And if I want to wake up, I have to let go of the dream. And I was thinking about this morning how you awaken from a dream. And I have the sense of it, myself, my consciousness kind of pulling out. Is that the experience you have? Kind of pulling out of the dream, pulling back?
I feel like I've never been in it. I've always been out of it. And the minute I've read this, it's true to me. It made sense why I never felt...
that you were actually in the dream.
Yeah. It really made absolute sense.
Brilliant, brilliant, yeah. So you're seeing a clear, in some ways, separation.
I didn't get pulled out. I was already out, and then I found this.
Yeah. So you were already on the path. This is just.
But I never knew what was going on.
Yeah.
In the sense.
So this is the Course in Miracles is giving you a framework in which to make sense of your experience.
And it fitted perfectly.
Yeah. Brilliant. Excellent. Okay. This is supposed to be a gorilla. I do apologise for my artwork. But have you seen, if those of you who've been in some of my classes, I show this in the class, you know the film with the people are passing around the basketball, and some are dressed in black and some are dressed in white, and they all mill around each other and they pass the basketball to each other. If you've not seen it, just Google it, basketball and gorilla. And what happens is I'm spoiling it for you, but you know, you end up watching the basketball players as you are instructed to do. You're instructed to count how many times they pass the ball around. And we are so focused on that, 2, getting the answer right, doing what we're told, that we don't see a gorilla walk through the field. It goes like this. It's not like he walks through. He goes in the middle, he's doing this, walks out. And when I do this in the class, I would say at least 80% of people do not see the gorilla, as I didn't when I first watched it. So I've kind of ruined the experience a bit for you there, because you all see the gorilla now. But it's shocking. It's shocking because you think, oh my God, how did I miss that? What is the matter with me, you know? And I was looking at the screen. Is this big, isn't it? I'm focused. All of my focus is on that screen, and I still missed. So it's not only projection that's going on, but it's very selective focus. So when my sister was depressed, for example, and again when I was depressed, if we went out, for example, you could have 100 people in that room, and she and I would be convinced that that person was laughing about us. Look at that woman, keep looking at me. So I'm not seeing the true story, I'm seeing what I want to see, what I choose to focus on. Does that make sense? Okay, so what do I see in the mirror? I'm actually seeing the inside of my head. I'm actually seeing my thoughts. That's all there is, because it's just me. And if you think about your world, you can't prove anything exists outside of what your senses are showing you in this moment. What I'm seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling, thinking. My world goes as far as I can see, for example. So I can't see anything past that window, past the houses out of the window there. So I can't prove, I don't know, Croydon exists or whatever. I can't prove your house still exists. And it's irrelevant in some ways, isn't it? Because all I need to focus on is what is happening now, what I'm seeing, what I'm taking in now. So it's a very small universe as well. And I can bring information in that seems far away, and I call that time. And what I'm seeing now, I refer to as space. It says that in the Course in Miracles, and it took me a long time to get that. Think about it. Space is always now as such. But if I define something by past, present, future or past or something like that, I'm thinking about it as time, and it's not in this space now. Does that make sense? Crazy, isn't it? But yeah, it's so true. I was like, oh wow, I love that. So I'm seeing what is inside my head. Now, my thoughts. Before we go further with that, let's just think. Just close your eyes for a moment and just think. What are you for? You, the personality that you're playing now. What are you for? The Course in Miracles always asks us to ask that question. What is this for? So what are you for? Anyone want to give us an answer? There's no right or wrong answer, obviously.
I don't think we can know.
Yeah? Then what are we doing here? So when we think about what are we here for, we don't know. The Course in Miracles tells us we don't know anything, basically. If you think back to the first study group, we ended with we know nothing. Then projection gives you your identity and function. It tells me who I am, what I'm doing. And so by knowing what's in my head, by seeing what's happening to me out there, so if I'm playing victim and I'm getting situations all the time that make me feel like a victim, picked on, bullied, everything's going wrong for me, however you want to say that, then I'm actually understanding what I'm playing out, what I am, who I am, and what I'm trying to teach myself, if you want to put it in those terms. So in some ways, this is what we've created our universe for. And remember, the Course tells us that we created this dream as such. It's not real. The dream as such, with a kind of question like, what would it be like if God has an opposite? Or what would it be like if I wasn't loving, and all of that kind of stuff? And therefore we create all of this in some ways to reflect that back to us. Does that make sense? So, you see my lovely artwork. Inside my head are my thoughts. These look like my idols, which are money, you know, all of the things, and my brothers, all of the people, and my relationships and connections between the things that cannot be connected because we're all one. But when I'm out there seeing, as I've said, all of you as separate and individual, a relationship is two things connected together as such, we could say having an experience connected together. And in that, I'm either trying to keep, the ego will try to keep me apart, and the Holy Spirit will try to bring me together with that person or that thing, and show that actually we're all just one anyway. It's all me, my head, my thoughts, full stop. So here, this is my little diagram. This is supposed to be the brain. So the eyes are looking out and taking information back in, but you know, I've just called this the third eye as such, but that also looks inwards. And the Course in Miracles always tells us, doesn't it, to come inside, to look inside. So I don't have to play this game. I could sit in this room and just heal my life like that. It's going to be a lot harder because I'm going to have to self-create everything and play with my imagination a bit. But it is possible to do because it's all in my head anyway. I could just sit here and do nothing. The Course tells us we don't have to do anything out there as such. But I do have to reflect on what's all in here. Does that make sense? And in some ways, that's why the imagination, I magic a nation, imagination without the seizing. I love that, play with words. The imagination is the most powerful part of the mind, and you could just do it all with your mind if you had to. See, my cat wants to join the course. Okay, so the Course says you give to the world the goals that it does not have, and thus you decide what it is for. So that sums it up nicely, everything that we've said there. There is no objective reality out there, just your dream. Therefore, you cannot ruin anything. You cannot ruin anything. So there is no sin. I mean, you're arguing with dream characters. You being a dream character, you're arguing with dream characters. You're trying to change a dream state. In some ways, it's bonkers crazy, but you have to get to the place where you really believe it's a dream first, before that can make sense. And I think the reason why we have to do all of this learning, because again, the Course says you don't need learning, but we feel we have to do this because we are so used to having to make sense of everything and trying to undo the ego.
It's like it says, it's what you focus on.
Yeah.
So where we're focusing on it, it then becomes at the forefront of your thoughts.
Exactly.
All the time.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm focusing on the basketball, that's what I'm going to see, even though the gorilla is clearly there. And it's almost like in hearing, isn't it, and listening. All I can hear sometimes is the ego, whereas the Holy Spirit is still talking to me clearly. I had a good example of this in the week because I'm still working on my attack defence cycles at the tennis club. And I did something and I could clearly hear the Holy Spirit telling me, don't do it, it's not real, leave it alone. But I still did it. And so I've got now work to do on that. But you know,
it's fun sometimes though, isn't it?
Yeah.
To play with it and do, even though you know you shouldn't be doing some things.
Yeah, but you know, and the Course says the reason why we can't give up the world, because if we know all this, we should be able to go, right, that's it, I'm done. The reason it's can't is because we actually do value. We value it. So that's what I say, when I'm going to have to look at what I'm really valuing here. You know, and obviously I was valuing in that moment, staying here, dreaming, rather than just disappearing, you know, back into the real world as such. So all of these little things start to show you, you know, what really you value as well. Not
So,
just what you do.
the change quote. Okay, so excuse me a minute.
So this is in some ways why we work towards moving from the real world experience to that higher world, because change, this is a quote from the Course, change is the greatest gift God gave to all that you would make eternal, to ensure that only heaven would not pass away. Let me read that again. Change is the greatest gift God gave to all that you would make eternal, to ensure that only heaven would not pass away. So heaven is eternal, changeless, all of the words that we used last time, one, unity. And in order to preserve that so that I always have a place to go back to, not that I've left, but I appear to have left, I can do whatever I like in this world with change, because there is no change in heaven. Oneness never changes, because it then would become something else. So that's kept pristine, if you like, and therefore I appear to be causing pain, to be causing death, to be causing all of these things, but it's not real, and it doesn't matter, because when I realise it's not real, heaven and me as the Christ, if you like, is held pristine. So we don't have to feel guilty. We haven't done any sins. Nobody has really suffered. I guess what comes to mind for me with that is, when you've given birth, for example, it's the worst thing. It's the worst pain ever. And you go, that's it, I'm never having kids again. Da, 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 da. But we all do. We all then go, because you forget that really quickly and really easily. And I always think about this as when you pass. Why do we come back? Why would you choose to come back? Well, because, wow, it wasn't real. Nothing really happened. Now what do I want to do? Or going on one of those terrible roller coaster rides and you're petrified and you get off, and what do you want to do? Oh, well, let's go to the next one. So pain is very temporary and passing, and in some ways surreal. It feels very real in that moment. It's a true experience. You're there, you're present, it's all encompassing. But actually, it's temporary and passing, and therefore anything that's temporary and passing is not real. Does that make sense? Okay.
The question is, her question is really, really valid.
It's one everybody asks.
It's amazing, because till you realise, you don't like me going to the past, but I think that might be relevant.
Okay.
I used to see myself as black. I used to see myself as, woman from the culture I come from. I used to get prepared to be married at 13. I used to know that with that marriage, I would never achieve anything. But it's such an inside work to be able to stand strong today and say, this is my world. I'm born now. The past does not matter. You know,
so you
I'm not black. I'm the most beautiful creator of the universe. My purpose is love that I found in God's heart. I will live to love. I will live to service the world. Even picking up the dirt on the road, that's my purpose. Do I find happiness in it? I find joy. I live to be happy and be fulfilled from the foundation of love that I found. But I have to work to look for it. So I do not blame the world of my problem anymore.
Exactly. I totally agree with everything you've just said. I totally understand.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Good example. Okay. So you teach what you are and you see the world you value. We've talked about that. So this is the ego's greatest trick. And this in some ways is what we get into when we see people suffering and all of this, because it confuses cause and effect. And that's really in some ways what you're talking about, isn't it? That, somebody has done something to this child. And, the cause is this perpetrator and the child is suffering. That's cause and effect. And the ego confuses this in order to stop us being able to understand this work and therefore to free ourselves from it. So the Course says, projection always follows denial, but this then becomes attack. Let me read that again. Projection always follows denial, what I've suppressed, but this then becomes the way I attack. And that leads us into the attack-defense cycle. So here's an example. Perhaps I'm in denial that I'm selfish, okay? Now, we all have every single trait out there. We're all liars, we're all thieves, we're all cheats, we're all selfish, we're all lazy, we're all loving, we're all kind, we're all everything, because everything is you, okay? So get over yourself in some ways. If you accept that, you don't have to keep denying it, suppressing it, repressing it. It won't keep coming to bite you on the bum. So I am in denial that I'm selfish, let's say, okay? Let's say my partner accuses me of being selfish. So I hear an attack. Now, you of course always uses this strong language, so we'll continue with that strong language. I hear that as an attack. Okay, we might call it an insult or cheek or whatever, but it's an attack. An attack is an attack, okay? So when somebody attacks you, what's your choices?
Attack back or defend.
Exactly. I'm going to have to either defend myself. No, I'm not. You know, what are you talking about? I did this and I did that and I did that. Or, well, you're blooming lazy yourself, aren't you? I either defend or I attack back. Now, before we go on, it looks like that partner is the cause of my suffering. He's the perpetrator, the attacker, and I'm the victim, doesn't it? Doesn't that look clear? Yeah? Okay. So I'm insulted or hurt because to me, I've denied that I'm selfish. I know it on some level, but I'm not owning it, and therefore I'm innocent. How dare you? I'm innocent. It's a clear attack, isn't it? Which means he's guilty. So I've made him guilty for what he has said. I defend or attack back. You're the lazy one. And then I suffer guilt because on some level I actually know it's true and it's my projection. So let's look at what's really going on there. So from his point of view, he as he believes, said the truth. That I haven't done the washing up, let's say I'm selfish and lazy, okay? And he's not seeing its attack, he's just bringing that to my attention. So this is the level of the real life, if you like, what we think is our real life, because remember it works on two levels. So the real life level, he's just saying the truth, I'm taking it the wrong way, because, you know, I'm now attacking him back, and we're all suffering. He's going to go away maybe and beat himself up. Well, I didn't mean that. You know, I know I've hurt her and I didn't mean that. I was only saying this. So he's going to feel guilty as well. He's going to feel innocent and guilty and that I'm the effect. And I'm going to feel guilty because actually, I should have done the washing up. I was a bit selfish and lazy. But, you know, whether I own that or not is going to be dependent on what I do next and whether I continue the attack-defense cycle, we carry on arguing and having a horrible time, or actually I then do something about forgiveness. So on the level, clear attack and victims who are confused. Cause and effect is confused. Is that clear before I move on? Yeah. Okay. So I can only be attacked though if I accept it as attack. If he said, oh, you're so lazy, you didn't do the washing up, and I just go, oh yeah, sorry, forgot about it. We don't get into the attack-defense cycle. I haven't made him an attacker, and therefore I'm not a victim. And we don't have the all innocent and guilt thing either.
Say again, sorry.
So if I don't receive that as an attack, either because I'm owning it or I'm doing my Course in Miracles work and I'm going, okay, this is my projection, this is my greatest spiritual teacher showing me something that I've suppressed or repressed, I'm not owning, then I don't make him an attacker and therefore I can't be a victim. And because, you know, as I said, you go home and because I really know I am selfish and, you know, he'll feel bad about upsetting me, we won't even have the innocent and guilt and the forgiveness thing to do. It stops it there almost, doesn't it? If I don't accept your attack, if you don't receive my gift, it's not a gift, is it? It's only a gift when you've received it. So something has to be received to be real, to be true. So if I don't receive his attack, I don't hear it in that way, and again, I'm not saying this is easy, you know, I'm continuously working on this, but this is the ideal, then actually all of that falls apart. We've got no victims, no perpetrators, no one's innocent, and more importantly, no one is guilty. Because what the ego is forever trying to do is to confuse cause and effect so that I end up feeling guilty no matter what. Yeah? So, if I don't accept that attack, it doesn't happen. So let me visually demonstrate this, because this makes it clear. The Course in Miracles says we are all one. We are all equal, we're all one. You're not even two people. You know, it's me and my reflection, if you like, me and my brother. But as soon as I've put the partner as the attacker, I've put myself as the victim. So we have this going on. Now that is separation, division, all of the things that the Course warns us against. So if I then attack back, and now he's my victim, we're just continuously bungeeing like this. No one's having a really nice time, okay? But if somebody apologises, let's say, I realise you're, you know, okay, I took it as an attack, but I'm sorry, you were actually right. What we both end up doing is coming back to parity, to equality, to being one again, where peace lies. Peace only exists here, in oneness, in forgiveness, in seeing my brother is me, that I made the attack because I took it the wrong way. Doesn't matter what he's doing. Doesn't matter, you know, if what he's saying is true or untrue. Anything is my projection, and how I receive it is the gift that I am given. And if I receive everything as a gift, I receive the gift. If I receive it as an attack, I receive the attack.
Can you really be, you know, have that stability at all time? You can't.
You can, but you have to work towards it, don't you? You have to catch yourself everywhere. This is why it's difficult. This is why people give up with the Course. This is why, you know, you have to be on guard all the time about how the ego is confusing cause and effect. However, once you get used to it, it comes less and less and less. And once you're dealing with all of your issues that you're projecting out anyway, because really it's the same issue. Everything's the same issue, isn't it? Our victimhood.
You know, what I'm saying with the Course of Miracle, it goes a lot more with alignment with my relationship with God. Because whenever I feel a strong emotion, it's in me.
Yeah.
The healing from Him is to me. So if I say, God, she did this to me, I can't believe I'm not going to that place. I can't, no.
No, because you've made it real.
That's what amazing when I'm, you know, coming to understand this Course. Nobody is a problem. You are a problem.
Exactly.
And you feel something, come to Him, and He dig in you and find some, because the healing is in you, and then He gives you the tool. So it's why constantly you have to be. It's like 25 hours
awake. You just have to be awake. And you know, that's what the Holy Spirit is for in some ways, to correct everything for you. If I've done that, I haven't committed a sin, because a sin feels really bad, doesn't it? I've committed a mistake, which the Holy Spirit will then correct for me. In my ear I hear, oh, come on, this is the attack. That's what I'm starting to hear now. Here we go, attack defence cycle, don't do it. I still did it, even though I heard the voice really clearly, because I'm not there yet. Did you want to say something?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my physical demonstration of it. So you are selfish, he said. He's the cause of my suffering. So if you imagine that we're on this kind of seesaw, so here he is celebrating, woohoo, I'm powerful, I've attacked. Because think about this. Who do you attack? Would you go to war with someone that's got twice the army as you or half the army as you? Who are you going to go to war with?
The weaker one.
Exactly, the weaker one. Yeah, or what you perceive as the weaker one. So where we're in conflict with people, it's only because we believe that we can actually win that war. And that's why in some people you let them off the hook when they say things, and other people you take offence to. So
let's use a case of a relationship here. A husband tell you are selfish. He has expectation of you, and he hurt you. Then, when you look really into what he's telling you, in my relationship with God, God would say to me, "Why did you? Could you be honest for the reason you married him? Was it love?"
Yeah.
So your need. You project your need.
Yes, because we're in when we do special relationships, you're in a relationship for what you can get.
That's it. Then you look inside, you know that no, I didn't marry him for love.
Yeah.
I married him for the conformity, for my need at time.
Exactly.
So that need projected that he have to have an expectation.
Yeah, and you. It
exactly.
works both ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
an expectation. What's an expectation? It's almost like a creation, isn't it? It's what I'm creating in the future because I expect this to happen. I'm inviting it to happen. So, those expectations, when we do the special relationships, we have a tick list of people, of things. So if I say, for example, let me use something different. I don't know. Okay, well, let's use husband. I've got a whole list of criteria that I expect from a husband. Loving, kind, supportive, always there, perhaps provides the money, whatever it may, does the DIY. Now remember, our husband has never seen our checklist, has no idea what's on our checklist, but if he doesn't tick every box, then I withdraw my love and I attack. But if he does, then I love him so much. And in some ways, it's that cynical. It's that cynical. And why did I marry him? Because, he ticks this box, ticks this box, ticks this box, ticks this box. And that's why in some ways, the Course in Miracles says love isn't really here. The special relationships, I think, I come down to here, is really for the ego, our relationships here. And they're not love. Love is something completely different, but it's held pristine in heaven. That's really what is held pristine in heaven and what we really are, and we cannot destroy and we cannot damage because that's held separate from this. So the dreamer is fine in bed. I can dream I've done terrible things or terrible things have been done to me, but I'm still pristine in bed asleep, at home asleep. So he's, woohoo, look, I'm really powerful because he's the attacker and I've come down here. The seesaw's gone down like this because he's insulted me and this is the effect. We were in balance, now we're like this. So I say, no, you're the lazy one. My side of the seesaw goes up and I'm the powerful one and he's down here now, my victim. And maybe when I then go and sit and reflect, and this is my Course in Miracles. And I sit and I think, no, right, okay, this is the attack-defense cycle happening. I didn't catch it, I didn't realise, but now I have, now I can choose again, as the Course says. So I say, I'm sorry. You were right. I wanted to be happy. I don't care if he's right or wrong. I'm just going to make him right so that I can be happy, so that we can come back to be brothers. And I'll try harder in the future, or whatever you may say, okay?
Could you just really go there like that, or you have to work with him?
No, it's all about you. There's only you. Okay. He's your projection. It does not matter what he's done. But as soon as you've made his attack real, you've seen him as separate from you. When we're in parity, look, it's, you're one, you're equal, you're balanced. But as soon as I see him as something different to me, therefore doing something that isn't me as such, making me feel a different way to the way he feels, now we're separate and divided, and that's where the fear and the pain and everything else can come in.
So that's the love confidence in you that is bringing you, because you are secure in your own identity so bravely that you apologize. You're confident. Okay, it's me.
Yeah.
You were right.
So you're
loving the vibration is there. You want,
go back to the mirror. You know, I'm just seeing my reflection. And I call, you know, I like to think of those people I struggle with as my greatest spiritual teacher, because they've just shown me something that's in there that I don't want. I'm trying to get rid of all this stuff. So the person at tennis is still showing me I've got victimhood going on somewhere. And actually I'm quite enjoying it, because I knew and I still did it. I heard clearly and I still did it. So I must still value my victimhood somewhere. So then I have to say, I forgive you for what you have not done. And it's have not done is the key. It's not just the forgiveness. He hasn't done anything because of all of the stuff that I've talked about before, that he has not done. In that, I'm clearly saying, it's me. I know it's me. I'm the only one here. We've joined back together as parity, as equality, as oneness, and therefore nothing else remains. It's gone, it's clear, it's vanished, if you want to say it in those words. You can do it in this way that, you know, I'm arguing with a dream character. This is the way I'm starting to do it. I'm arguing with a dream character. It's so dumb, isn't it? If I know I'm dreaming and I'm arguing with someone, I'm arguing with myself in a dream. I'm not quite there yet, obviously, as the dream would have disappeared, but I'm starting to try and think about it in those terms. And what caused our whole problem in the beginning, the Course says, is that we forgot to laugh. We had that mad, stupid idea that I could be different from God. And there, if I'd have just laughed and gone, oh, I'm ridiculous, this is what I am, none of this would have happened as such. And so if I can do that now, I can just laugh. I laugh all the time now when I catch myself doing it. This is what happened to me. My road rage, it's not bad, but you know, my little frustrations with driving, they come and they go. I'm really good at it sometimes, and I noticed it came back again. And I laughed because I had this image of like this person who pulled out on me, sitting at the junction. I'm waiting for Theresa. I'm waiting for Theresa. I'm not moving. I've been here for 14 hours. As soon as she drives up, I'm going out there. Because that's what I'm saying. That person has pulled out in front of me. They've sat there and done this to me. Because that's what I'm saying, is it? When I'm a victim. It's crazy, isn't it? You laugh. You know, you've got to find ways to laugh at it. Laugh at it.
Like I had my ex turn up twice this week, the kid's dad, and it was this situation that was only him. And after I laughed because I said I wouldn't have dreamt it any other way. As the character that is Dave, I would have set that whole situation. That's how it would have been. Yeah, I would have imagined it that way.
Yeah. And so you get...
And that was that. Yeah. I didn't take it for what had happened. No. I thought I wouldn't have dreamt it any other way.
Yeah.
That was the character of Dave in my life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's good though, isn't it? Because it's changing the whole way you feel about everyone and everything. And that's what we really, you know, are... If you can get yourself to, honestly, to that place...
Well, it had no effect.
Yeah, where everybody... however you want to say it, it's a dream character, is a reflection, it's all me, they're my greatest spiritual teacher, however it works for you. I mean, I'm going to come later to my sticker analogy, because what I'm trying to do is see that, shall I do it now? Okay, that what I'm doing, I might as well show you my excellent model that I've created for this. Seeing as we're here now, I might as well do this now. Okay, so this is heaven, if you like. This is God. This is the Christ that you are. Imagine there's no border. It goes on forever. Pure, one, pristine, unchanging, nothing really going on as such, okay? And this is what I've created This is a figure, if you can't see it. And this is the ego's version of me, if you like. That I am a body, a heavy, dense body of matter. Okay? And what I'm actually doing is with all of these things that I've projected onto myself, because we don't only project onto other people, we project onto ourselves. I've projected that, you know, I'm a body, there is a world, I might be a son or a daughter, I'm a mother or a father, I have a name, because the name is just something my mum thought up, or my dad thought up, and pinned on me, stuck on me like this. My sex, all of the qualities, selfish, lazy, liar, cheat, guilty, thief, unloving, sexual, loving, kind, beautiful, good, or, you know, go on and on forever. And this that I've created, this person I've created, and imagine all, you know, all of the white is covered up, is just covering up the light. I am still in heaven. Heaven hasn't gone anywhere. My Christ self hasn't gone anywhere. It's still here. I can't see it because I've covered it up with so much rubbish about myself. But every time I project it out and I say, hang on a minute, I am loving and kind, I can remove that. Or I let go of my anxiety, I can let go of that. I can peel all of these off. I won't do it now, it'll take too long. But if I peeled all of these off, I would just be left with the figure as such. Yeah? I get rid of all of my labels and I'm just left with the figure, the plain figure. So some of the light is coming back, isn't it? The only thing that now is stopping the light, stopping me returning to heaven, is the belief that I am real and I am a body. And if I can finally let go of that, because the whole course is about letting go that you're a body, because only the body can be attacked, what happens to me?
Light shine.
I'm back as heaven, back as Christ. That's why I think nothing happens except you finally accept it on every single level. You've let go of everything else about you, which is the Buddhist really thing about non-attachment to everything. Buddhism is so close to the Course in Miracles, it's unbelievable. And, you know, I've forgiven everyone and I see everyone as equal. Then all that's left is that. And what really is the dream has disappeared. Does that make it clear?
I understood it best when it said heaven's not a place, it's a state of mind.
Right, yeah, which is that, isn't it? I've got rid of all of the stuff that's stopping me realising who I am and where I am, and then I'm awake.
It's a lot of work of the ego.
Yep. It's just and that's why in some ways the work is always on yourself. If I'm seeing evil out there, I've got to own the evil in me and get rid of it. Once it's gone, I will not see it. It's impossible for me to see it. If I take that sticker off and throw it in the bin, it's impossible for it to go back onto that figure. So it's just, but remember there's layers of things. So I've been working on victimhood all my life. Obviously now, even though I'm, happy as Larry, it's still obviously there in these tiny little things. There's still bits and pieces all over the place. And what I'm realising why do I get on fabulously with everyone, but it's at this tennis club? I have the most problems in my car and in the tennis club. So the car, I realised this week, I give the analogy, I love the analogy that I am the driver of this car. The body is the car. The driver is the spirit, who I really am, right? Now, and I was driving along, and the road rage is coming back a bit, and I was thinking, why is this coming back again? What is this? And I realised, in fact I heard, that I'm not present when I'm driving as such. Now this sounds really bad and dangerous, but we're all doing it. You don't think about, right, now I must go into second gear, now I must turn the wheel. The car is driving itself as such, isn't it, really? For all intents and purposes, unless something jolts you out of that. It's the same with the body, isn't it? I'm not going, move my arm up, breathe. I'm not giving, the body is driving itself. And so I realised, when I'm in my car, the car is me. The car represents my body. And so when something pulls out at me, The reason I can't stop it is because that is like somebody jumping out at me with a knife. It's a personal, you know, survival issue in that moment. The shock of it turns on the fight or flight. Nothing I can do about fight or flight being turned on, if I'm going to believe in the real world and that I'm a body, and therefore I'm always going to have that. But now I realise it's not me playing victim, it's actually just because fight or flight gets turned on, and if I can remember that when I'm driving, then I will not have the same thought process that causes my suffering afterwards, that person waited for 14 hours at that junction to get me. And the tennis club is the same. It's where I the only place where all of this is going on. Winners and losers, better player and worse players. And so I've got to work on this. This hierarchy thing is really what causes all of our suffering.
It does.
As soon as you're better than anyone else, worse than anyone else, sicker than anyone else, happier than anyone, you're playing this game, good and bad. Even when you say I'm happier than you, you've just put yourself in there, which means at some point you can be here.
Could you not feel that equilibrium just because, okay, at work as a fitness instructor, I work for Les Mills, an international company. They have that structure of how you're going to deliver exercise.
It's very prescriptive,
and with my new findings and the joy in me, then you have to, sometimes some people have to come and watch you.
Yeah.
When they come to watch me, I am so gullible. I cannot even say a word. My right and left is just, I'm the worst teacher ever.
You go into panic, fight or flight turns on. Yeah.
But when I am in my class, they love me because I don't think about what technique or pleasing other people. Yeah. I'm just the free, vibrant. It's difficult how it can impact you.
Yeah.
And then you can't go to the progression. So they come to assess you. They have the framework, what they're going to take. Yeah. I'm not having expectation, but still, I want my free style of teaching. But because I'm into the education.
Because you've chosen to buy into that. You could go and teach freely if you wanted. I know a lot of the gyms are bought into that. Are bought into, but you could start your own classes and
that's
things.
What I was telling that I have to try.
But you see, this is interesting, isn't it? Because this is how surreptitious it is. You've just bought into the attack-defence cycle. Les Mills, he says, I've got to do this, this and this. You're seeing it as an attack on your freedom. Look at me, poor victim. I can't be the loving, brilliant, fantastic self I am because Les Mills says I've got to do it like this. Can you see how surreptitious it is? We're buying into it. We don't even realise that it's that. And you said all that. It's only that last minute. And I heard attack. And we're doing that. I had it with an email. I had a client who was continuously asking questions and questions and questions. And I was very patiently answering back. And then the final one she came back with is, can you send me some testimonials? God, that pressed my button like, oh, for God's sake, I don't do testimonials. Who do you think you are? Kind of thing. I'm dramatising, obviously. But I started to write the email back and then I realised, oh my God, this is the attack-defence cycle, even in a blinking email. And so I had to really step back and go, okay, how, she's shown me, I've still got a little button of victimhood, don't question my professional ability, kind of thing, all the ego coming up. And so I had to write the email in a very different way. And that's only possible because I caught it. So, poor you, either get out or change what you're projecting. Yeah, always choice.
Fear of being judged. Yeah. Not being capable.
Not being good enough.
All these things. Yeah. And then it impacts my ability to teach when they're there.
Now, how are we going to turn that around then? How can we turn this around? So Les Mills is providing money and work and all of these fantastic things for you. He has just been your greatest teacher because he has just shown you you're still playing victim and all of that kind of stuff. So we forgive Les Mills for what he did not do. All right, Les, you're all right, you're off the hook.
From so many things that they do.
Yeah, we forgive Les Mills for what he did not do. Yes. And thank him for what he's taught you. Yeah. And then now the work is not to do that. It's Why do you not believe in yourself enough? And I have this myself. When you observe teaching, you quieten down, you're frightened of what you say the wrong thing. You know me in the class, I'm very like out there and expressive and off the wall and that. But if there's an observer there, I have to tone it down. But why do I feel that? Because obviously on some level, I don't trust that I'm good enough in what I'm really doing.
And of course, they have the frame of teaching. You want to fit in that frame. And they give me this platform of self-discovery. I love teaching fitness. Yeah. They have the package that I enjoy. So they give me that happiness that I used to
give you so much. Yeah. It's all laid out for you. In some ways, you're lucky, aren't you?
Yeah, and then I don't want to lose it. At the same time, I don't want to be fit so much like a robot, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want the nice balance of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's for you to reframe, isn't it? For you to see, and maybe it's not the right place for you. Maybe you take all that you've learned and then go off and do your own. Become the new Les Mills or whatever. Okay, let's move on. So, all anger is nothing more than an attempt to make someone else feel guilty. And this attempt is the only basis for which the ego will accept special relationships. Because in some ways you're talking about a special relationship, aren't you? Here's Les Mills, here's his checklist of what I must do or what I should be, and here's your checklist. Les Mills has never seen yours. You might have seen Les's, but Les has never seen yours about what I want from teaching, what I want from teaching exercise and all that. And if the two marry up, fabulous, we have a special love relationship, and if they don't, we're now into a special hate relationship. So when you are angry, you want to project that out and make somebody else feel the guilt. So we want to blame somebody else. If only you do this. See, you made me angry because you did this. When really, I'm angry. It's the anger within me that I'm actually trying to get rid of. And then I feel guilty because I'm projecting it out and I know I'm doing it on some level. And therefore, I've got to take that back. Yeah? I'm not angry with someone. I'm angry at myself. And anger is usually powerlessness. And usually, you know, the blaming somebody else, actually the ego increases this, doesn't it? That person is really making me angry now. And it seems like the confusion of cause and effect, that I can't do anything about it. But I can choose whether I allow them to make me angry or not. If I see them as an attacker or a teacher. So special relationships equal... Don't forget, there we have special relationship with the idols as well. Money, work, your body, home, everything. And I project onto these things too. Idols are substitutes for your body that you believe will make the little self safe in a world perceived as dangerous. So, if only I have enough money. Why do I need money, 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 money? To give things to the body, to keep the body safe. A bigger house. Who benefits from a bigger house? The body. You know, why do I want the jewellery? To make the body look beautiful, you know, and on and on and on and on. So and that's why the Course tries to get rid of your belief that you're a body, and then you can let go of all of those things. They're not. If I don't believe I'm a body, then I haven't got to dress it up. I haven't got to worry about money and it surviving and all that kind of stuff. Because that's the way the ego buys us into fear and pain. So this is the story of the scapegoat, and this is really important for the attack-defense cycle. So the scapegoat in the Bible, the story is, just really quickly, is that the priest would take a goat to the big meeting, let's say, every month at the village. And we were supposed to be living by the 10 Commandments. And if you have sinned, you can bring your sins, put them on the head of the goat and be absolved of your sins. So the poor goat is now full of sin. And we drive the goat away so that I can feel absolved of my guilt and I don't have to look at it. Which is why we drive our family members away and our friends away when they upset us. Because actually we know what we've done, we know we've projected onto them, we feel guilty, but I don't want to see it. Don't want to look at it. So I make them the scapegoat. goat as such, and I drive them away. And then the other part of this that's important to understand is the course talks about leaders and followers. That we give the job to somebody of being the leader, and we take on the role of follower, and then we have a go at them for being the leader. So the way this, we had a lovely example in the class of this. So this is a tube train, and the lady on the tube in the class, she walks with a walking stick, and she's got a lovely man. And they were on the tube, and then they came out and walking up the stairs. Obviously she walks very slowly because she's got a stick, and a bloke pushed her, and her lovely partner stood up for her, and so they love. They're in that love relationship. He fulfilled her tick list of, you know, what a man should do. Fabulous. And then we were working with it, and I gave the example. Okay, what if that man had run away and hid in the cupboard? Right, this is my little man drawn hiding in the cupboard. Okay. So here's her checklist of what a man should be, what a boyfriend should do. Protect me at all times, because she's the little woman. Okay. And so often we're seeing ourselves as perhaps not the little woman most of the time. So here's me. Strong, independent woman. I can look after myself, but I still would want a man to protect me. So here I am saying, I'm down here, putting him up here, even though he hasn't done anything, that immediately puts him up here. But then when I give him the role of leader, i.e., look, that bloke pushed me, do something about it, okay, I've reinforced this. If he does it, fabulous, he's fulfilled his duty. If he doesn't, we go like this, and now I don't love him anymore. So I go into that special hate relationship with him. Well, he was a waste of space, wasn't it? I'll get rid of him. If he's not going to protect me, what's the point of him being here? Okay, I'm dramatising it, obviously. But really, he can't win, can he? Because usually I'm the strong, independent woman. Don't mess with me. You're not above me, mate. I'm here. You know, I'm up here. You're here. Or hopefully here would be nicer. Until I tell you. Now, he doesn't know my checklist of when I expect him to be the leader and when I expect him to be the follower. Because I don't go, now, okay, now I've elevated you to up here. Now it's all right to be a man, but not normally. But now you can be the man. He doesn't know that, does he? So I give him the role of leader when it suits me, and then I have a go at him or berate him or remove my love when he didn't realise he was supposed to do it at that point. Or when he does it and I'm not happy that he does it. Say like he does it and then, you know, I feel that he's made me feel small. He can't win, can he? Other people can't win. Because it's us projecting, he's just living his life, but it's me projecting onto him my expectations, my needs, my story, my checklist. Now lead, now follow, now lead, no follow. And as soon as we have leaders and followers, we're into this. So the Course says very clearly, your brother walks beside you and he's got the lamp. So what's the point? You know, okay, it's nice in some ways if someone walks before you with the lamp, as long as they don't go too far, as long as they don't too much, because now you're in the darkness. And, you know, if they're behind you, that's even worse, isn't it? The ideal is to walk with your brother as one, both in the light. So don't be giving somebody a role, especially a role that says you do this here and then you do this here, because they don't know what your story is, your projection is. But if I then take it back as all my projection, okay, why did I create that? Why did I, you know, create this situation and see him run away? Well, what has it shown me? What has he just shown me? That I gave him the role of leader and he didn't want it. He didn't want to take it because we are one. There is no leaders and followers. I should be able to stand up for myself. Yeah. I am equal to him and everyone out there. But my belief in bodies, he's a big strong man. My belief in bodies is the ego's trick to keep me away from that and cause me continuous suffering and pain. And him and everyone else out there. Does that make sense? So, the other point that needs to be brought into all of this is that giving and receiving are one. Remember the mirror. Goes in and out and in and out and in and out. What I give, if I give attack, I'm going to receive attack. If I give love, I'm going to receive love. If I receive love, I'm going to give love. If I receive attack, I'm going to give attack. You know what you are, or you know what you have by what you give. So I only know what's in here by what I'm giving out there, what I'm giving to other people. If I give the role of leader, what have I just said? I'm less than. If I give you a gift and you receive it, I receive a gift back. I receive the gift of giving. If I give you a gift and you don't receive it, I haven't received the gift of giving. So it's one thing. So I really kind of want to end with the Byron Katie work, Loving What Is. Fabulous, fabulous work. And she has a whole worksheets that you can get online that go through her work. But we're just going to look at the turnarounds. For the attack-defense cycle, the turnarounds are key, okay? So with our example, and I've called him Dave. How psychic is that? Dave said in our past example, you are selfish. And in Byron Katie's work, she says you turn around the pronouns. So we play with this so we can see it really from every point of view and then own it. So Dave says, you are selfish. He says this to me. Okay, so let's turn this around. So I am selfish. And I look at, well, first of all, I look at, am I selfish? So I look at, I am selfish. And, you know, everybody's selfish at some point at the same time. And again, if I'm going to pretend I'm not, I'm doing this. We're all the same, okay? So, and also, if I'm seeing it out there, it must have come from me. So I must be selfish. Then we change the pronoun. Dave is selfish. Now, if we were looking at it in the normal world point of view, well, of course he's selfish. He's selfish sometimes. We're all the same. We're all one. I'm keeping it like this. But if I go, yeah, Dave's selfish sometimes, then I've done this. And, oh, sorry, or this, or however you may feel about it. It's still not this. So it's owning. From the Course in Miracles point of view, Dave is selfish. I would be seeing what?
Rejection.
That he's my projection. He's just showing me the selfishness in me. So I can't escape on any way that this is talking about me and I am selfish. And then you turn around the negative and the positive. So this is a you are selfish. How about he says to me, you are not selfish, or I say I am not selfish. And I have to explore that, don't I? Well, I wasn't being selfish. I forgot to do the washing up. I wasn't being lazy. I forgot to do it. Or I was taking the kids to school, or whatever excuse or reason there is. Or actually, I just go, yeah, my bag, sorry. I should have done it and I didn't. Okay? All of those bring us to parity again. I am not selfish. Dave is not selfish. What happens there from the Course in Miracles point of view? Taking back my projection again, isn't it? That there's times when I'm selfish, there's times when I'm not selfish, there's times when people out there are selfish, times when they're not. I cannot throw stones at people when I do the same thing because they're going to pick the stone up and throw it back at me. From the real world point of view, if I say, okay, Dave's not selfish, Dave's not lazy, then I'm in a place of forgiveness for him. Either way, it all works out the same. That you own what you did. If you feel you could have done it better or you made a mistake, it's not a sin, it's a mistake, can be corrected, I then go and say sorry. What happens when somebody apologises? Let's say I'm up here and the guy who ran away and hid in the cupboard is down here. If I go, oh, I'm really sorry, I should have looked up, I shouldn't have put that on you. I was scared as well. You've got every right to be scared. We come back to this.
It's a really, really great point to be, because I remember my brother and I were having some problems, and I got a revelation to call him and say sorry for something. I was blaming him for something. I don't know if I share it with you. I was blaming him for something. Oh, I'm the one doing this for you. I pay for your study. I pay for this. I pay for that.
You owe me.
Yeah, you owe me. That expectation and attachment was a big lesson for me. Then throughout, when I meditate and I got the answer. Look what you did. He trusted you with something, but you have this intention. I did have a wrong intention with the expectation, because he's your brother. He has to listen to what you say. You are the big sister.
Big story, big
this,
checklist.
The intention is not right. The way I'm thinking is not. Then I have to apologize. When I was asked by the Holy Spirit to call him for apology, I'm like, if I apologize, he would think that, he's right. No, it's about your peace, your love. It's not about what you're expecting him to be or receive or look you down. Yeah. It's so powerful.
Yeah, exactly. And, you've projected all of that onto him, because you're, in some ways, again, we'll do a week on the reciprocal relationship of giving and receiving. In this world, we think when we give, we lose. If I apologise, if I give him the gift of apology, I've said I'm wrong and you're right. I've lost something. But it's not true.
Practice with that, because I get a lot of my family, they're attackers, so I have to...
No, they're not.
But then it's for my learning then, because I've learned to sit in that place and not let them take me down. Excellent. Or they'll come at me like that, but if I remain here, eventually they'll always calm down and we're back on the same level. We're back on
the same level, exactly, the same level. Yeah. So my forgiveness brings parity. And my forgiveness for what they did not do brings oneness. Yeah. So that's why it's key. And then she ends with, I am willing to. So I might say, okay, I'm willing to do more washing up. I'm willing to own that this is my projection. I'm willing to, not see everything he says as an attack, on and on and on. And I look forward to doing that, to change, to choosing again, however you want to say that.
And you project that, because by saying sorry, everything around you become calm. Yeah. And they come. Everybody is loving. You work on it. You don't look that, if I apologize, I'll be looking down. No. Soon you really work on that inside and come, because the power of the sorry is so healing. Yeah.
Because it's not the word, it's not what you're doing. What you're actually doing is seeing your brother as one. Yes. That you're coming to equality, to parity, and no division. More importantly, no division, no separation.
We can be having a conversation, me and my sister, and we're here, and she'll say something. And I feel her jump up to trying to be superior. And then it's up to me then, whether I want to
take it or not.
And I just don't. And eventually she'll come back down, always.
Yeah, because you've not bought into the attack-defence cycle. That's what you're saying. So it's going on around us all of the time. So we have to be aware, have to be awake. Don't berate yourself if you miss it, because there's all, time doesn't exist, and time heals going backwards and forwards. So you just correct it, forgive, all of that kind of stuff. Because you want to be happy. Because when I am happy and peaceful, what am I going to project out? This is why Gandhi said, isn't it? Be the change you want to see in the world. Because there's only you. Everything else is just reflecting light back to me. So, I was going to tell you my sticker analogy as well. The other part of this sticker analogy is this, okay? So I have stuck stickers over it. I've got a sticker for each student here. I've put over the light and all of this everything in my world. And so if I'm struggling with a person and I start to pull that sticker off, this is how I'm doing it in my imagination, and throw it away. So what I'm really doing is taking back my story about you. I've projected onto you your name, your age, everything about you. It's all come from me. So if I pull that whole sticker off and I just let the light come through, so if I pull my sticker off that whiteboard, the white would shine through. There is no division between light. So therefore, I and you become one. And actually now I'm seeing the heaven within you. I'm seeing the Christ within you. Everything that the Course says, you know, that's such a visual thing for me. That really is working for me, about taking back my story about everything, peeling back those stickers. And it doesn't matter if I did it 20 years ago, I fell into the trap, I can still take that story back now. And again, seeing people, I've talked about this before, seeing people how I have dressed them up today. It's the whole file of what I believe about them, isn't it? I don't know if you remember, girls, the little dolls you used to have, or the cardboard cutouts, or even the Barbies and things, where you can dress them up. You put wigs on them, don't you? Or you put a suit on them, or you put riding gear on them, and you're creating a story and an environment, maybe a Barbie environment about what they're in and what they're doing. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing to all of you. I've created you, I've dressed you up, I've got a story about you all, I've pinned a name on you, and if I can peel that away and just see the light, it's a quicker, easier way of doing it, because it's all rubbish.
My son, yesterday, I need to really get, I know, it's
work on it.
When I cook, and I know that I am the problem, I know. When I cook, he doesn't, my son is mixed race, you know. When I was talking about the race issue, it's something that really was very core into my negative system. Although now I know the power of love and everything, I keep catching myself to the point where when I cook, he doesn't like my food. I know, you help me with this. And I'm like, by the way, being black is the most beautiful. He's mixed race. That's my defense, you know, seeing me rejecting my race.
Can I just get in there though? Because every time you talk about race, white, black, blue, male, female, son, mother, anything, you've just created differentiation, separation and division.
Yes, big time.
You're dressing him up, and in some ways you're giving him an issue by keep drawing his attention to it, aren't you? Which means what? You have an issue with it.
I do.
It's not clear yet.
It's not. It's what I said yesterday, and I it's terrible. It's wrong.
It's not wrong, is it? Don't think of it as wrong and bad. It's a mistake. It's a sticker to be peeled off. Neutralise it. Otherwise, it becomes such a big issue, and you're beating yourself up for it. Because when we have guilt, we deserve punishment. Well, you don't.
No.
It's just faulty thinking, isn't it? You're just and you're arguing about yourself in a dream and all, however you want to do it. Just let it go. Okay, so really quickly.
Definitely.
So the remedies are, if you're really there, if you can really work towards it, that you are the dream and the dream character. Have a laugh, because nothing's really happening. You know, minimalise it as much as possible. The sticker analogy that I've just given you, heaven is here. Heaven is here. It's already here. I'm the one covering it up. And if I don't start taking back my projections and changing what I'm projecting out, I'm never going to be able to see the light. I'm never going to be able to wake up. And one of the ways I do that when I've fallen into the trap again is the forgiveness, because really I'm giving the gift to myself. When I give the gift of forgiveness to you, I'm actually receiving the gift myself. Empty the subconscious, i.e. take back all my stickers. And again, we forget, don't we? We're supposed to be giving this to the Holy Spirit to do, who can do it much quicker and much better. But we're so used to solving our own problems and not letting go of the control of it that, you know, it has to make sense before I can let it go. So it's like I have to draw out every little inch of learning before I can let it go. I know that's what I'm doing. Remembering is, this is what I love. This is what the Course says. I've never ever seen it before, but I found this so profound. Remembering is the past tense of perception. Remembering is the past tense of perception. Now remember with the gorilla thing, we perceive what we want to perceive. We see what we want to see. And it's very, very unreliable. if there's an accident here, as the police will tell you, we'll all have a different point of view, we'll all have a different description of the perpetrator, because we see through the filters of our beliefs and perceptions. We've got fuzzy glasses on, if you like. So think about this though, if I can't trust what I'm seeing now, and remembering is the past tense of perception, it's the same thing set in the past, I can't trust my past. I can't trust the stories I've got about you all. I can't trust what's in the files. And that's key for me being a clinical hypnotherapist, because I'm forever rewriting people's past and overwriting their old programming and all that kind of stuff, and changing their memories into more positive ones, digging out the roots and planting beautiful bulbs. So I know that's true, but that just really keyed something into me. So if I can't trust anything that's happening, I'm back to I don't know anything again. How can I blame anybody out there? How can I know anything's true? Why am I buying into all this if I don't even know what any of it is about? And the Course in Miracles says, doesn't it? It's all meaningless. You don't know nothing. You're like little children and playing with your toys, but the toys have come to life and are now frightening you. And now you believe they're real, and now you believe they're running the world, because you've forgotten that they're toys that you created.
I forgot who it was I was watching, but he said, be clueless, careless and cared for.
Yeah.
And so no, you know nothing.
Yeah.
Care less about a lot of more stuff. Like, for instance, like your bin story.
Yeah.
Care less, it was taken care of.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that seems to be the way it goes.
Yeah.
The more you don't put an emphasis on these little stresses in life, it just gets taken care of.
That's right.
Yeah, because you're not playing the attack-defence cycle, therefore, you know,
You're not
if I
buying
stand
into
there
it.
and I keep pinching you, and you're just not paying any attention,
By not
eventually I'll
buying
give
into
up.
it then is the key.
Yeah, exactly. Letting it go, letting everything go. And however you want to do it, dream, take back my projections, you know, just, you know, I am already in heaven. However you want to do it is irrelevant in some ways. You have to do it through the filters of your beliefs and perceptions, depending on how, Catherine said earlier, didn't you, about where you are on the road. We're all on the road. It's just where you are on the road, where, you know, if you've done a lot of self-development work, you've got rid of a lot of stuff. So you'll find it easier, perhaps, if you know a lot of quantum physics. Like, you know, I know quite a lot about quantum physics. If you've got a real belief that you carry on after death, that allows you to let go of a lot of things easier, like the body and that. But if you're bought into, this is real, my body is real, you know, suffering is real, separation and division is real, you are trapped forever. You're trapped in the prison of your own mind and your own beliefs, or you're freed by your own mind and your own beliefs. Either way, it's up to you, you choose. And the Course says, doesn't it, everybody will do the Course eventually, because you can only bear pain for so long, and then you look for something to help you change. And you might not find the Course in Miracles straight away, or you might have done other work, and then the Course in Miracles just puts it in a framework for you. I did most of mine through Bashar, who is a channeled by Darryl Anker, who, you know, it's taught me so much psychology, which is really what's in the Course in Miracles.
Yeah, you can apply it in all the other teachings.
And the Course in Miracles says you don't have to do it through the Course. Do it how you like. There's lots of different ways to do it, but you're going to do it. Eventually, you can't take the pain anymore, and you will come to it. You will do it. So know that you know nothing. Everything is either love or a call for love. Why is that person hurting that child? It's a call for love. That person is obviously so in pain themselves, so victimised, so powerless, however, you know, whatever's going on for them. Rather than berating them and saying, you're a child abuser, you're bad, you're wrong, you're this and that, to give them a different way of thinking about themselves, a different way of, you know, understanding the world, that you're not powerless. You always have choice. There's always people out there to love and support you. You know, you are God. You are, you know, you're not this personality you think you are. There's other ways to be powerful, all of that kind of stuff. So if you come and hear that as a call for love rather than, that dirty child abuser, blah, 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 you've actually given them the gift that you then receive yourself. And we're never upset for the reason that we think we are. I think it's that woman at tennis. I think it's that one waiting 14 hours on the junction to get me. I think it's Les Mills. I think it's everything. It's not. You're never upset for the reason that you think. It's always because you're seeing it wrongly, in your wrong mind rather than your right mind.